I'm on the line with the client. Sir, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, please state your name, sir, and tell us about your complaint and why you called policeabuse.com.
Sean Gerald. I was driving home from picking up some popcorn candy on a Sunday night and made a legal U-turn, and a police officer accelerated up on me. I didn't know it was a police officer and experienced, I thought it was road rage, and I thought someone was attacking me with their vehicle, and I didn't know if they had a gun or whatever, and the police officer stayed right on my tail, and I didn't know it was a police officer at that time. And eventually, I was driving very safely, have an extremely clean record, haven't had a ticket since I was 17, and this police officer was just incredibly over-aggressive, and in my opinion, it was road rage, or even the vehicle was used as a weapon.
Well, let me ask you a few questions about this. What time of day or night was it? And you said you made a legal or an illegal U-turn?
Legal. I made it legal. It was very, very legal. There was no law broken at all, in my opinion. And it was about 10:30 in the evening. It was very dark. The street did have street lights, but I could not see the vehicle or what type of vehicle it was. And the officer pulled me over and then said that I was driving unsafely, or really didn't even give an explanation what the issue was. And I said, no, that's not the case. You accelerated up on me.
Now, let me ask you a little bit about that. When you were driving legally, you made a legal U-turn,
yes,
and you were returning to your home. Let me go over a few other things. You said you don't have a criminal record?
I've never had a criminal. I'm an enrolled agent. I'm licensed by the federal government to do taxes. I'm reviewed by the IRS every 3 years, so I have to keep a very, very clean record and report everything any type of violation except the traffic ticket to the IRS.
So you have a government licensing that requires you to always be above board, etc.
Absolutely, above and beyond board. I have to be extremely clean. I mean, I prepare federal tax returns and state tax returns for people.
Well, do you have any record of reckless driving? Any running to the police over speeding violations or anything like that?
None. I have not received a ticket since I was 17. I've not been pulled over that I can recall since, I think, when I was moving to Virginia and Arkansas, and that was like probably 20 years ago.
Okay. Do you have any history of anti-police attitudes? I mean, are you a cop hater? I mean, do you have any problems?
Not at all. No. I'm very respectful of law enforcement and feel that their job is very difficult, very challenging, high-stress job, and I think it's an important part of the overall scheme of government. But to misuse power, to misuse the badge that you've been given is wrong, and there has to be checks and balances. And for people to misuse their power, no matter what position they're in, there needs to be check and balance.
Well, what
termination of the officer? That's I'm sorry to hear that, but we can't have corruption in law enforcement.
What was most disturbing about this encounter? Was it the fact that the officer whipped around, drove up on top of your car so closely? Was that what bothered you, or was it her attitude after she pulled you over?
Well, it was both. I made a legal U-turn, and there was the police officers that I did not know at the time was ways back by the Lutheran church, and then I was in the number 2 lane, and I moved into the number 1 lane, and the officer accelerated from the other lane into my lane and got on my tail. And I didn't even know who it was, so then I tried to move to the right, and they stayed right on my tail.
How fast? How fast?
This was like road rage. I'm like, oh my gosh, I was actually fearful. I mean, the person could have had a gun. I don't know who it is.
How fast do you think she was approaching? Generally, at what speed, if you can estimate?
Acceleration. I mean, she stepped on it. I mean, this was not like I'm going to come up. No, I mean, it was like right up on you. And it was from a ways back, and changed lanes and everything. And
do you think that she posed a risk or threat to the public driving in that manner?
Absolutely. If she would have caused an accident, the city and the police department would have been sued. Absolutely.
So she was driving. She was driving excessively fast to cite you on what violation? Did she actually write to?
I have no idea. She never said. She said I was driving. She alluded to that I was driving reckless. I said no, that's not the case. And then she tried to force me, and she says, And at the end, she says, well, I can write you a ticket. And then she even asked me, she goes, well, do you have any tattoos? And I'm like, well, no. And well, what does that have to do with anything?
Hold it, let me back up. Walk me through, Sean, what she said to you when she walked up to the car and what you said to her.
Well, she says, everything. I go, everything's fine. I go, what's going on? Why are you, except she said, well, I didn't. So you're driving, I didn't accelerate up on you. You're driving, she didn't really say what the situation was. She just asked me if I'm okay, like when she's the one that came up on me.
Okay, and again, what time of the morning was this?
No, this is at night, 10:30 at night.
Okay, so 10:30 at night. And how busy was the traffic on the road?
There was no traffic.
Okay, so there's no traffic. So there was no reason for her to be driving that way to catch up with you because she could clearly see your car, correct?
Well, I think she could. I made a safe legal U-turn. It's a little dark there, but
okay.
For somebody to accelerate up on you, that usually, especially in Southern California, with the shootings on the freeways and the way that people drive, and I've lived here almost my entire life. I was born and raised here. That's usually a sign of road rage.
Well, let me ask you.
Drives like that, that's a sign of road rage.
Let me go back to.
You usually want to avoid people like that.
Let me go back to her. Let me go back to her question or her comments to you at the car. Did she ask you for your driver's license and registration?
Yes, she did.
And did she take those away, or did she stay by the car with it?
She took them away. She went and I guess ran a check or whatever they do. I have no idea. And then another police officer drove up behind her. And he came up and he's like shining the flashlight. To me, they were playing a game, and law enforcement is not a game. And let me make it very clear: a citation was not issued. So
she actually never wrote you a ticket, but she pulled you over nonetheless, and had no real explanation for it.
In my opinion, she had no explanation. No.
Okay, so she didn't.
She caused the situation, so she tried to create a situation so that she could, I guess, pull me over.
And when she didn't have a violation to cite you for, she didn't ask you about tattoos?
Well, she said, she had to record every time the City of Oceanside Police Department engages with someone in the city. They have to make a log of it, she said. So I said, okay, well, here's, that's my, correct address. And, I gave her, she asked my phone number, and she says, well, do you have any tattoos? And I'm like, wait, I said no, but what does that have to do anything? What if I'm black or white, or I have tattoos all up and down my right arm? Mm-hmm. That has nothing to do with why I'm even engaging with this police officer. My life should have never even engaged with her. Our paths should have never crossed. That's the issue.
And since this incident, did you report it to the police department, and if so, what was their response?
I went into the police department and I reported filed a professional complaint, a written professional complaint. And when I was in there, the lieutenant or whoever I was speaking with said, well, this isn't even going to go anywhere. And I'm like, well, and I'm thinking, I said, well, you're probably right. But when I thought about it later, I go, that's not the issue. The issue is they need to do their due diligence. If you have a complaint against a professional that's licensed, then a government agency may check into them. Their responsibility is to do the due diligence and not say, well, this isn't going to go anywhere. This isn't a game. This is law enforcement. And they have to have a high level of respect. If they don't have respect, then they will not be respected in their community. And that's how that's the whole concept of why law enforcement can't really maintain a good area, is because they don't have respect. When police have respect in an area, no matter what income class, whether they have tattoos, no matter what, they'll have respect for those police officers. They'll have respect for those people in authority. They'll respect for those teachers, that principal. It's a concept of having respect for those in authority, but you have to earn that. Were
you offended by the comment that this isn't going to go anywhere before they had actually completed an investigation?
Absolutely. He didn't even look into it. He said, well, this isn't going to go anywhere. But what does that have to do with it? To me, in my mind later, what does that have to do with anything? He needs to do their due diligence within their professional standards unit to make sure that their operation is clean as a whistle. I feel like I'm a whistleblower. Feel like I'm a whistleblower.
Would you have felt differently about the person taking the complaint if they had told you, Mr. Gerald, we are going to look into this. We appreciate you bringing this to our attention. We will investigate it thoroughly and then get back with you. Would you have been more happy with a response like that?
Absolutely. That's all I'm asking. All I did was say, hey, this is not right. You know, what was going on is not right. And he, in my opinion, he said, okay, we will look into it, we'll review it, and we will get back to you. And then it takes 3 to 6 months to get a review back on this. That doesn't seem timely.
So let me ask you this. You're telling me you still haven't gotten an answer?
I still have not received an answer. I called, and the gentleman that said that he was reviewing it, he outsourced it to another officer, and he's working on it. He said hopefully they'll have it done by the end of August. So, I mean, it's unbelievable.